I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And has everybody got their microphones on?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Let's have a roll call.
Commissioner Nicholas,
Here.
Commissioner Mazzoni,
Here.
Commissioner Palmer,
Here.
Commissioner Parkman,
Present.
and Chair Zinda.
Here. So the next order of business is, I'm losing my job. Election of officers, chair and vice chair, and Sandy is going to handle this for us.
Yes, I will open the floor for nominations for the position of chair for the Planning Commission.
I'll nominate Daryl Parham.
Okay,
I'll second it.
do we have any other nominations? No? Okay.
If he wants to be.
We'll go for a vote. All in favor of Daryl being the chair?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. So now I'll open the floor for the position of vice chair for the Planning Commission.
I nominate Martin Nicholas.
I'd second it.
Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
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 That's how you do it.
Abstain.
If you're lucky, you'll be like I was, and I think I had one sick day in the entire 6 years I've been chair. And I was out of, no, it wasn't even a sick day, I was out of
And you
town.
work up to the chair.
Okay.
You were there 6 years?
I don't believe we have any public comment at this point because we have no public. Are there any conflicts of interests?
No?
No? So we're on to staff reports and the regular agenda item.
Well, this is why we called you down. You are? Yep. You and Martin.
Oops, excuse me, this is kind of why we hauled you all down in here today, is because we have this formality to go through, the annual general plan report. It's a state requirement. We've done a few of these. This year, we're going to be on time. Last year, I think we were here at March, when it's better to be, it's due in April to the state. It's kind of I think it's a really good exercise for bigger cities that have funds to actually implement, programs and stuff like that. So essentially ours doesn't really have much action. Now, we are lucky enough to have a relatively new general plan from 2017. And we have been doing the housing element implementation on time. In fact, we got done with that like 2 years ago. So since then, we've been the housing element used to be a 5-year cycle. The planning director for the county, Rico Tensman, he did some work, hard work, and got everybody in the county on an 8-year cycle, which saves small cities quite a bit of funding, not having to do housing elements every. So the next 8 years is projected. We base our next housing element on what the Department of Finance projects and all of that. So that's where they come up with that thing called the Regional Housing Needs Assessment. And what that is it's like they say how many people might be here, and they say, well, out of that, based on all these other data, this is how many very low units we need to be ready to make or make available, zoning for, essentially. And this is how many moderate and above moderate and all that. So we've been pretty good on the, on the regional housing needs. We went through the fire, then we went through that big rebuild year where we had 42 new units built. We haven't added too many of the below, low or very low, but this year, our building activity was basically 3 building permits. One was an accessory dwelling unit, so we finally exercised that option for somebody. And then basically that kind of means that we added a couple more above moderates, and we don't have any remaining. And what we basically got through on this last 5-year cycle was 20 of the 38 units were spoken for. So we did okay, I think. Now, what's kind of important to understand is that now the next 8-year cycle, they're actually projecting no growth here. In fact, I think a little bit of a reduction in population. So our regional housing needs went down to like 2. Two units to be made available. We don't have to construct them, no one has to construct them, it just has to be kind of ready, the right zoning and maybe some infrastructure, that's what they mean. And most of the time, not even really the infrastructure, because the developer puts that in. So, I'm not really looking forward to seeing much growth around here, so, just want, I don't know, just, these rural counties are kind of starting to shrink in population.
Do they get it by going from one county to the other to get an estimate, or is it?
No, I don't know how they do that. That's why I was gonna bring that report in, but basically it's a bunch of projections that they come up with, like based on vacancy rates, all sorts of stuff.
People moving, so on.
Yeah, people.
I know a lot of people leaving. They're moving.
Yeah, it's just like that's what's going on. So essentially what these reports do is we have an introduction, we talk about the last updates to the general plan. We didn't do any last year, but if you remember right, the year before, I believe we updated the safety element for our hazard mitigation plan. And then we talk about the housing element update. The good news is we really did complete our implementation programs in a timely manner. So whatever we said we were gonna do, we did, so that's always good. And then there's the housing element reporting requirements, which is basically the table A, the 2 attachments, which also includes the construction activity, and again, amendments to the general plan. So this gets forwarded to the council, and then eventually to the Office of Planning and Research and Department of Housing and Community Development. Again, it's a formality. If we were really active, this would be a good opportunity to kind of go over the general plan and look at what we want to do. Let's implement this one, let's implement that one. But as you know, the funding in these small cities, we really can't get that much proactive unless we're responding to grant opportunities, which we still have some in the works. We're gonna be updating our subdivision ordinance, and we do have the grant that's funding the general plan housing element update and the environmental with that, plus a few other zoning adjustments. A lot of it's to get consistent with the density requirements that we put out in the general plan. See, our zoning code doesn't necessarily match up with what the density stuff says in the general plan, so we gotta, which is kind of an increase. They want to, so that's out in the works too. We're still trying to get someone to do that work. We've had a couple RFPs go out with no takers. So it is kind of a thing where there's really not many people are in planning up here in this region anymore. And it's been difficult for most of the cities, I hear, to get responses for these jobs, but there's also plenty of time, so that's about it. If you guys have any questions about, obviously, we haven't done much this last year on the environment, on the general plan, and we've already completed our housing element programs, so that's our report, really.
Well, Love's has won their lawsuit, are they gonna still come?
Did
I
they?
believe there's stuck in appeals down at the appellate court in Sacramento.
Right.
Oh, yeah, they won the trial court here.
Yeah.
Appellate court, who knows how long that's gonna take. But, that ERR was pretty good, and so is the lawyer, so I don't see anything coming out of those lawsuits.
Yeah, I wonder if they're really actually still gonna go since the other 2 truck stops went in.
I bet you
Now that
so.
they're not here, there'll be 3.
Well, I bet you they
Because there's
do.
no competition,
I
that's
bet
why I
they do.
kinda wanna.
I think Love's thinks they're the better ones, and they're gonna,
I hope so.
yeah.
All the flats got bought out by some Iranian gentlemen, they're gonna put in a full-blown truck stop.
I think
The 812 is now full-blown truck stop. They have
I
one
think Love's has other options they can do.
Yeah, they're on Highway 5.
I think
That's the big
we're
one.
good on that one.
Well, I know that truck stop they've got on north of Wairika is booming.
Yeah, it is.
Chevron.
It is.
Yeah,
Yep, it
it's
is.
every time I go through there.
I
and they
don't
have
really
good
know what
Indian
they're
food.
thinking, so any questions like that, I'm just speculating.
Well, I figured maybe you
Yeah,
heard from them.
no, I don't, I'm out of the loop. This is the loop here, I'm out of the loop.
You haven't heard from them either.
No, yeah, I'm
We
way
check
out.
in and that's where they're sitting, is still waiting to, down in Sacramento.
So essentially, all we really have to do is accept this report and forward it on to the council.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the 2021 General Plan Annual Progress Report and recommend forwarding it to the City Council.
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All those against, say no. No. That's it. Commissioner, approval of minutes. I believe there is no problem with the last minutes, whenever that was. September.
Now, when was that?
September 2020, oh, 21, okay, I thought 2020.
Do we have any reports from any of our commissioners about anything?
Nope.
I think I did notice my travels coming back in that the truck repair place at the north end of town has painted their container as per
Excellent.
our meeting in Q3 last year. So it was
Yay.
something I noticed, good for them for getting that done. Looks nice.
I think he's up for sale now, isn't he?
I'm not aware if he's selling that place or not.
With his sales sign, that's why I asked.
Oh, really?
Isn't there one out front of it?
Probably make a little money on that.
Well, it's too bad.
A little bit.
I don't think he's gonna leave that quick. I think it was his wife's idea. I think he put the price up high enough, he don't have to worry about it.
Right, I see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Anyone else? I have a question. I haven't looked recently, but I really want to know why we can't have a working clock on Main Street.
It's in the works, the parts have just arrived.
Excellent. I wanted to see that.
I didn't even know we had a clock.
Right in front of the old theater, it's beautiful. It was put in with the sidewalk project.
Oh,
It's a gorgeous clock and it hasn't worked for years.
I don't keep track of time anymore.
Yeah, right.
So it's practically new.
It is, I agree.
I
That's
don't even have a watch or anything.
I'm really glad to hear that because that's just
I
wrong.
have a flip phone.
Yeah. Oh, God damn.
I know everybody's making fun
You're
of me.
gonna
I
be
was out
like
there
a-
lost the
we
other
should
day
put
in
you
the
in a
woods trying to
museum.
find those people stuck. Said, we're gonna text you your stuff. I said, really? Not me or not?
So that's my last project I wanted to ask about because I am retiring from the commission as of today.
You're done?
And I'm done.
You gonna
I've got-
travel?
I'm going to travel.
Good.
Yeah, I got some,
You're done for the price of
I got
fuel.
some health issues I'm dealing with. I'm going to travel. I just want to focus on my own stuff.
Good, have a ball.
And it's been like 6 years I've been here, so. So it's been a interesting ride, and I've really enjoyed working with all of you, so it's just time to move on. But I'm really hoping you guys find another woman so you have some balance on the commission. That's my request. Please.
They have to apply.
I know you have to, I know you have to take who you know,
Finding decent applicants is
I know.
probably the hardest part.
I know.
Nobody wants them, no one
It's a
volunteers to do
thankless
it.
job.
Well, I have
That's
a
why
lady,
you guys
I have a
are
lady
just-
who's happy to do it, but she's in Lake Shastina, so we've already got our full complement of peripheral Martins in Shastina, and that's our one placement, so.
Whatever,
Okay.
work with anybody.
I believe that's it. I
No,
will,
there's one more report.
okay.
I too am leaving. This is my last meeting. I put in my notice to early February. Basically, it's just because I think it's time for me to stop working. I can't really, my work level quality has gone down. I feel like I'm phoning it in lately, and I think it's just, I'm due to do nothing.
No.
you know.
You gonna travel too?
No, I'm gonna be a ski bum and be a biker, bicyclist and a hiker.
There you go.
Just like normal, yeah. Yeah, I mean, really, it was funny because when I first got involved with weed, it was for doing the last housing element. And then I didn't really have a job here, but I just kept on getting the calls, and pretty soon I was just the planner, and then all of a sudden this thing shows up, you know? And now 7, 8 years, let's see, that was 2014, so 8 years later, here I am still working. But I had a good go of it. I really enjoyed working with this city. The two boards I worked with, I never had a bad day with, and, you know, that's kind of rare. I mean, it's been, you know, we all have to work through these issues together, and I think we all did a really
We tried
nice
to.
job, you know. I don't like have any you know, it's like I don't dread coming to these meetings like maybe I might have used to once in my old job. So that's, yeah, I don't know, that's just, it was a good 8 years, thank you.
You get a feeling when it's time to move on. It's like I retired from my business last year,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
moving on.
Wait a minute, I was on my way to Alaska when I broke down here and I've never left. I was.
Well, I've really enjoyed working with you,
Oh,
Keith,
thank you,
and thank you.
So have I, thank you.
Very much so.
all right.
Yes, thank you.
Well, you guys are all very welcome, and I enjoyed myself too. I hope I think we did some good.
Good question.
You are.
No.
She could, she just doesn't know it. But really, I think there might be
I'm not
better
planner.
opportunities, you know,
What?
I'm not
upgrades.
planner.
Do you know anybody, Keith, that would be
What do you have for
interested
dinner
in-
tonight?
Yeah, I
Did you plan it?
probably shouldn't talk about it on the record.
No, I
No,
won't
okay,
answer
but I'm just
my
saying, you do know people you could recommend,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Keith's put us in touch
Let's
with,
cut off the camera then.
we gotta adjourn first.
Oh, he used to work here, well, it's a once in a while.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
So in the meantime, who would we get? Tim?
I don't know. I don't think there might, you never
So we'll go
know.
another 6 months or so? then
Well,
we'll-
there's
Well,
really
we
not
have
much
Keith-
action
yeah,
right
we
now.
have Keith
Yeah, now's a good
to-
time.
So-
It's
Yeah, so
slow.
then, plus I have unfinished business, like, you know,
Yeah.
that subdivision ordinance, that's being done by the attorney, but when that gets to draft form, I'm gonna probably help get it. Well, it depends on who's here. I'll just have to collaborate with the new person if there's already someone here,
Right.
but I think that you guys are gonna be, okay. In fact, I think in better hands if
It says it all on his hat. He's going to be a ski bum.
yeah, I'm just gonna stop working, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just
I am
enjoy-
enjoying a retirement
Yeah.
immensely.
Well, I really was semi-retired. This was my only gig, so sometimes it was like 10 hours, well, it's 10, 20 hours a month. So that's not really, you know, hard. But, yeah, just, I'm done. Kind of burnt out, really.
I'm going
is
to do
what it
different stuff.
is. Yeah. So anyway, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is that it? I'd like to make a move to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Last time.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. Enjoy your travels.
You're the Rubber City Council, huh?
We're thinking about